Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today I just want to talk to you guys about my experience of the whole pregnancy journey. I know Shemaine shared her experience the last time, and for me it's been very interesting, you know, especially seeing that it's our first pregnancy and being the guy in the relationship and some of the things that I've been going through and some of the experiences that I've learned and other men have shared with me when their wives were pregnant. So hope you guys stick around, and I hope that you guys enjoy this video.
Hey there, I'm Shemaine.
And I'm Rashad.
And we're the Prospers.
So one of the most interesting things that I've learned during this pregnancy is the level to which the hormonal and emotional changes happen. I was not expecting that. Media has portrayed pregnancy as being like, yeah, super chill. 9 months are gonna fly by really quickly. It's gonna be a walk in the park. All you really have to do is just help your wife just do a couple of things, and no, that's not how it works. So there are days where she has these incredible mood swings. Some days she's up, some days she's down, and like I spoke about in the previous video, sometimes I would find her just crying on the floor randomly, or we'd have a conversation and she would just laugh, and then after the laugh just break down into tears. It's inexplicable. She herself doesn't really understand it, but we both understood that it's something that's happening to her, and we just have to just take it as it comes. You know, another thing that I've also realized is that the emotional sensitivity part, there are certain jokes, there are certain things that we would say, they don't hit the same way during pregnancy. It's like I would make these really, honestly, I feel like my dad jokes are top notch. But I would say that she's emotionally sensitive in terms of she's very callous towards my jokes. She doesn't laugh at my jokes like she used to. Like, why was Simba walking so slow? She's like, I don't understand. And I'm like, because I told him to move faster. The whole emotional sensitivity part, it's very interesting because sometimes there are things that just tick her off that otherwise would not usually tick her off. So for example, if she were to ask for toilet paper, I don't bring her toilet paper. These little things, like they're just things that it don't make sense in the moment, but as I previously mentioned, the whole hormonal up and down roller coaster thing, it's inexplicable. But what I have learned during this process and during this phase of the process is try my best to be as supportive as I can. I may not understand it may not make sense to me, I probably will never fully grasp it, but my goal as a man is to try my best to be as supportive as I can be to her during this phase. Another thing that I've come to realize during this whole pregnancy journey is the level of physical discomfort and fatigue. I could sleep through the night well and good. She would roll, she would turn, she would sit up, she would lie down, she would raise her leg, she put her leg on me. And she mentioned that in a previous video that there are just levels of discomfort that I myself don't understand, because my body has not changed, and that's something important. My body has not changed over the past few months. Her body has. And if we have to look at the anatomy of the pregnant female, the intestines get pushed, the lungs get pushed, the kidneys get pushed, the liver gets moved, the stomach gets moved, the bladder gets compressed. So that there's a lot of things that are happening in her body that physically make her feel uncomfortable. The spine starts to slowly change its position, the bones, they stretch out, and these are things that I will not be able to understand. You read them in a book, you see the changes, but you don't understand how somebody's feeling through these changes. So that's something that I've also learned to be a little bit more mindful of. Thank God Shemaine was blessed to not have morning sickness, and she's able to get enough rest, so she's not as fatigued as I would hope. You know, it's not as easy to just focus and give something hours of your attention, because now there are different things that distract you. For one, she has this living, growing being on the inside of her who just always seems to love to kick for some strange reason. This little being is always kicking and loves food, really loves food. I think that this little being takes after their father, who absolutely loves food. Whenever she eats, baby loves that. Baby's always moving and kicking and waddling and swimming and doing backflips. And one thing that we have noted is that 53.7% of you guys who watch this channel are not subscribed. So with that, I'd just like to encourage you guys, if the content that we provide is something that you find of value, please, we definitely encourage you guys to subscribe and to follow along. for more of the journey. Another thing that I've also learned is the increased need for support during pregnancy. When Shamin got pregnant, one of my co-workers at the time, she told me, hey, listen, and I find that very interesting, and I really appreciate Darlene for giving me that information. But what she told me is that as a man, it is your responsibility that no matter what it is that you are doing, when your wife has a prenatal visit, find the time, make it happen. If you know she has a visit on Thursday, today is Monday, speak to your head of department, speak to your boss, speak to your supervisors, let them know, hey, my wife and I are having a prenatal appointment on Thursday. How can I arrange my time to be able to be there for her? You know, as men, it's easy to kind of trivialize it. Oh man, she's an independent woman, she can do it. She can, but she would also love to have the company of her partner with her, the company of her husband with her. You know, when we went for our first ultrasound, at the time she was what, 7 weeks? I'm just like, listen, this little one is not interrupting or impeding you in any way, to stop you from driving, to stop you from walking, to stop you from anything. You don't need me to come. And she's like, yes, I do. And that's one of the things that, like I said, Darlene, put that in my head, that you better find the time. Don't ever let your wife go to a prenatal appointment without you. Thank God, till this date, I have not missed a prenatal appointment. Thank you, Lord Jesus. But it's just very interesting to kind of go through these journeys with her. And when you go to these prenatal appointments, listen, it has blown my mind so far. The very first time we went, we saw the sack, just a little sack. We saw the little sack of the baby inside the sack. That was all cool, chill. We had another ultrasound a couple weeks ago, and in that ultrasound now we're seeing an entire baby. There's head, there's bones, there's skull, there's liver, there's lungs, there's a heart. It's an amazing thing when you see the baby's heart beating and they put it on the machine for you to listen to it, and you're just like, wow, listen to this little one's heart. And the last one we saw long bones, we saw fingers. Oh my gosh, it was just amazing. And I'm out here losing my mind because I'm just blown away by just how beautiful this moment is. And Jermaine just you know, on the bed, and I think she may not want to admit it, but I feel like in that moment it brought a level of pride and joy to her to know that she had her husband there and she's carrying this little one for her and her husband, but that her husband could, you know, experience it. Honestly, that ultrasound, that second one, that last one we had, they really kind of I don't want to miss any of them. I've also realized that in being supportive now, it's important to also suggest little things. You know, coming home from work, bring a little token, bring a little something, write a little card, write a little note, say, babe, let me cook for you, let's go for a drive, let's go get something to eat. Especially if your wife is on bed rest, or she's on sick leave, or she's on maternity leave, anything that can get her mind off the current situation. Listen, 40 weeks is a long time. Waiting for a baby to get to term is a very long time, and it can become very overwhelming having a routine that extends for more than a couple weeks. It's well and good to be on vacation. Oh, you're on vacation for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. It's a different thing when you're on maternity leave, or you're on sick leave, or you're on bed rest for 30 weeks, 20 weeks, 15 weeks, and you can't go anywhere. You're just stuck in the same four walls, just experiencing things over and over to not put too much stress on your body. So whatever you can do to suggest, whatever you can suggest, or whatever it is that you can do to help out would be greatly appreciated by your wife. I am learning that in this current moment. So that's another thing that, you know, a lot of men have shared with me. A lot of the fathers in my life, they've told me, hey, listen, don't just trivialize this whole pregnancy thing. You know, you're gonna go through some things and you're gonna learn some things about yourself as well. Another thing to take into consideration is the lifestyle adjustments. You know, the whole changing in the eating habits. Now, initially before the pregnancy, she was vegan, but when she became pregnant, you know, we decided, hey, let's give the baby the best possible chance at developing and everything. Not to say that you cannot develop, babies can't develop on a vegan diet, but there's a lot of supplementing that needs to occur on a vegan diet during pregnancy. So that was something that we kind of had to adjust the eating habits. Then eventually we got to a point where we started eating meat, but then we also started snacking. And then when she snacked, I snacked. When she ate, I ate. That was my form of emotional support. So if you're emotional, like, you want something to eat, you know what, I'm right there with you, emotional support. And what ended up happening was I ended up putting on a lot of weight. The last time I jumped on the scale, which was a couple of days ago, the scale said ouch. The scale actually showed me that I weighed 234 pounds. And that puts me as being obese. So over the course of the next few weeks, I'm definitely going to be working on that, because that is not something that I want. It's not something that I would like for my baby. And quite frankly, I don't want my baby to feel like I was the one carrying him or her. Because when Shemaine is done delivering, Shemaine is going to lose the baby weight like ain't nobody business. And then what? I'm going to be stuck with a big belly, a bare belly, a dad bod. I would love to redefine dad bods. My dad is a very fit guy. He's always been a fit guy. I've known my dad to have a six-pack for his entire life. All right, my dad is right now in his late 50s and he still has his six-pack. So that's something that I hope to emulate about my father. Another thing about the pregnancy that I have learned as a partner is that it's important that we share responsibilities. And one of the things that I love is singing to the belly. She would sing to the belly. She would read stories to the belly, to baby. And I would enjoy also singing to baby, reading stories for baby, sharing scriptures with baby when we read the Bible, reading so baby can hear us. It's important that baby has both of our voices. I do believe that when baby comes out, baby will have an affinity towards daddy more than mommy, but that's just my personal preference. But it's just been an amazing journey to just kind of go through it and knowing that there is life growing just behind the border of the skin and the womb, like just right there. When you touch the belly, you could feel baby kicking, baby moving, and it's just such an amazing thing. And I really hope that baby kind of gets to appreciate the sound of my voice. But yeah, she's always singing to baby, she's always talking to baby, she's always telling baby jokes and whatnot. And I really enjoy that. Also, another thing I've come to learn is that responsibilities have to be shared, but not even equally at this point. When you get married, we have this conversation about, let's share chores and share responsibilities reasonably. For some people, it's a 70-30 split. For some people, it's a 50-50 split. Some people, it's a 80-20. But as long as both partners consider it to be reasonable at the time of marriage. However, regardless of what works for you in your specific marriage and your specific situation, not regarding what anybody else thinks, when your wife becomes pregnant, the dynamic changes. She is no longer physically able to do the chores with the same level of efficiency that she would do them before pregnancy. And in most cases, she'll not be able to do the chores at all. So it moves now, the boundary now has to shift. And it has to shift with an understanding that, my wife is not going to be doing chores because I have to pull my weight because she is carrying a baby. It's not to say she's not doing it because she doesn't want to. Listen, if she didn't want to, that should not matter. Quite frankly, she shouldn't have to during the pregnancy. But if she does insist that, hey, I don't want you to treat me like an invalid. I'm not an invalid. I can do chores, whatever. My advice to you as a man is to assist her. Don't allow her to just do everything by herself. But a lot of women, during the course of pregnancy, they don't like how men, or a lot of people in general, tend to treat them like they're invalid or disabled. Pregnant women are not disabled. Pregnant women are just growing a baby inside of their bodies. So if she says she wants to do the chores, help her out. All right? No harm, no foul. But another thing that I've come to realize, and I think this one might be one of the most important things that I have come to realize in this pregnancy, is how much this pregnancy inspires me. Listen, I started writing a pregnancy journal. I started just journaling my thoughts, writing down some of the experiences that I've been through. And I've always thought about doing these things, but it's not until you're in the moment where there's this little being that's growing and kicking and moving, and that it inspires you to do different pieces of art, to write. Like, my creative writing is on a honestly, like, I find that it's on an upslope because I feel more inspired to write. There's something that's driving me to write. There's a newfound passion, even in certain video projects, because I started a video project just for baby called Dear Little One. And all these things encourage me to want to do better, to want to be more. Apart from being just creative, we've also started emailing baby. So before baby was born, by the time we found out that we were pregnant, we created an email address and we would send periodic emails to the email address, almost as a form of journaling. The idea would be that when baby turns 16 or 18, we can give it to baby as a birthday present, be like, hey, this is email address, a journal of everything that we have compiled throughout your life. I pray God that Google is still around so that the email address doesn't just... But the thoughts that we had for you before conception, because we had started this incubator from since 2018, 2019, but the idea incubator was that we really wanted and hoped for a baby girl. So I've always been team girl for as long as I can remember. Shimen has also been team girl. There we have it, I said it. We don't know what baby we're having, so we had to create another email address, and instead of saying, hey baby girl, hey baby girl, hey baby girl, in this new email address we say, hey little one. Hey little one. So I mean, it's been a journey, an experience. What I try to do is the emails, I try to just forward them to both of them. I'm praying God that this baby is a little girl so that I can just give her both email addresses, or just give her the one that started from since 2019. But if it's a boy and it's God's will, then the other email address is there. But we have not yet found out the sex of the baby. We're hoping to do a gender reveal later on the channel. But until then, guys, just stick around and hope you guys are blessed. So, that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. It's just a quick video just to go through my experiences of how it's been being married to a pregnant woman. I would also like to shout out all the men in my life, the fathers in my life. Well, not even just the fathers, but especially the fathers. Those who have sat me down and given me invaluable advice as to, hey, the realities of pregnancy. I've had that during marriage, but people have sat me down and said, hey, listen, during pregnancy, this person that you love and cherish and promise your life to, this person will experience some changes. Be ready and willing to be able to facilitate comfort for that person. It's a temporary trip. It's a long temporary trip because it's 9 months, but at the end of the day, it's a life-changing journey. And do as much as you can to prepare for your baby as baby is on their way, you know. If you can help her pick out colors, if you can help her with designing different things, and just the idea of her knowing that you're involved in the process, the creative process, the baby preparation, delivery process, it makes her feel more comfortable. I really appreciate all the mothers and those who have had experience with kids, and just women in general who have been willing to reach out. There are a lot of people who have reached out since Shimen has posted the last couple of videos, you know, just giving some advice and encouragement to be like, hey, you know what, I understand what this is, I went through it, especially the whole depression thing. As a man, that's also another thing that kind of took me by surprise. I wouldn't have expected Shimen to have gone through depression, but sometimes I would just see her just lost in deep thought, and being confined to the house does not help. So it's just a matter of just trying to figure out different things to see what works for her. Today she wanted Chinese food. Guess what? Your boy got her Chinese food and her face lit up. All right, so we do whatever we can do to help out. So guys, without further ado, I would just like to say thank you guys for sitting down here with me. And I'm not too sure you've noticed, but the chair has changed. The window is still the same. Move the chair, put a table, trying something new. So above all else, guys, put God first in everything that you do, and have a blessed and wonderful week. Those of you who are new to our channel, this is a channel where we speak about love and relationships, marriage and everything in between. If you don't know where to start, I would like to encourage you to either select one of the above. Here we have a playlist on sex in marriage, and here we also have a playlist on relationships and discussions about relationships. So feel free guys to explore the content, and I hope that you guys are blessed.